Hi, y'all. Hope you all are having a great day, a great Tuesday. It's Tuesday evening now, and I just saw that there were statements released by Shannon Sharp and also Stephen A. Smith on the lawsuit against Shannon. So I thought I would go live and review these or listen to these with you all. I have not listened to either Shannon's or Stephen A.'s statement. So let's check out what was said. And I'm going to the screen to share. We're going to first listen to what Shannon had to say.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape.
Oh, Lord. There's a 30-second sex tape. um, okay, Shannon, I agree. Tony Busby is not a credible lawyer, not only for the Jay Z case, but I think several of the cases he was trying to bring forth with the Diddy situation has also been dismissed. So Busby doesn't have the greatest credibility right now. But there's a sex tape. Um, videotape changes things because it definitely changes things with Diddy. So we'll see.
It tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself.
Not Shannon say put the whole video out. Woo! Okay.
You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay. Because I had been seeing on social media something about race play. So I'm assuming that's what's in this maybe video that's going to be released. Oh my God. And Shannon is obviously wanting us to know who this girl is and what her name is and the fact that she's the OnlyFans person. Now, Shannon might not be trying to shape our perception of this girl, but I have read that when he met this girl in the gym, she was 19 years old. So, Shannon, a lot of what you're getting right now, you kind of deserve it because you're almost 60 years old and you're out here picking up a 19-year-old. And what do you think comes with that? I mean, I look at him side eye. He always has all this. My grandmama told me and my papa told me. But what did they tell you about this, Shannon?
Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys. Thanks. To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues,
Well, that was a brief statement. I'm gonna let it play again. I don't know what to make of this. I feel some kind of way that he started all this with a girl when she was 19 years old and he damn near 60. Um, I did see the text messages she sent, but I'm not going to jump to any conclusions on that one way or the other. But this is just a mess. And I thought about when listening to Shannon, I thought about when he apologized for the Instagram thing with him and some woman named Michelle and how he, did his, oh, I'm sorry. It sounds much like this. I mean, I don't know, Shannon. I don't know. It's giving me some Bill Clinton type energy. I don't know. And whenever this tape drops from this woman's lawyer, I just don't know. So let's take another listen at what he had to say before we listen to what Stephen A had to say.
I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so.
What stereotype? What stereotype? Because if it's true that whatever might be in this video is some kind of race play, I mean, oh, I don't even want to really. I don't even want to really think about it because if this is involving quote unquote race play, which I didn't even know was a thing, then I can only imagine what role you might have been taking, Shannon. And then would you not be in some kind of weirdo fetish? I stereotype is just ugh.
Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys. Thanks. To my
Okay, so that is what Shannon had to say. So let's take a look now and see what Stephen A has now said about all of this. And I think he made his comments a few minutes ago. So let's take a listen.
Welcome to this edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you over the digital airways of YouTube and, of course, iHeartRadio. As always, thanking all of y'all for y'all support for watching the show and what have you. The millions of downloads I received over iHeartRadio. Subscribers now eclipsing 1.18 million. Thank you so much for the love and support. Today's a different day because of where I have to get started and where I have to finish. There's only going to be one subject discussed today, and it's where we're getting started. It's involving some news that broke yesterday involving Shannon Sharpe, my colleague at ESPN and my friend. The Hall of Fame tight end was sued on Sunday by a woman proceeding under the name Jane Doe pseudonym. The 13-page civil complaint filed in Nevada alleges that Sharpe committed assault, sexual assault, battery, and sexual battery. The plaintiff alleges Sharpe sexually assaulted her several times at the end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025. The suit also alleges that Shannon engaged in the intentional infliction of emotional distress. It should be noted that the suit was filed by attorney Tony Busby. This is the same attorney that filed a suit against Jay-Z and P. Diddy, alleging they both sexually assaulted a minor.
Wonder what that body language from Stephen A just meant just now. They're really leaning in heavy on the fact that this attorney is Busby, and I don't blame them. I would do that too, because he's just not a credible attorney at this point,
which has since been withdrawn. Jay-Z also has countersued Busby. By the way, the plaintiff in the Sharpe civil suit is not the woman heard in the accidental Instagram live stream incident that made headlines last September of last year.
Yeah, I didn't know until this case that there's another case in New York involving another woman named Michelle, not the one who was recorded in the Instagram video, who had some accusations against Shannon as well. Who even knew about that?
Response to the suit, Shannon and his legal team went to social media yesterday and released a series of allegedly sexually explicit text messages between him and the Jane Doe. In addition to that, they issued the following statement, quote, "This lawsuit filed by Gabriela Zuniga and orchestrated."
Now, y'all, in the suit that was filed by Busby, she's referenced as Jane Doe. Shannon and now Stephen A here on ESPN, they are using her full name. And from what I heard on some other show, as long as they're not using her full name in actual legal proceedings, supposedly it's not a legal issue. But we'll see, because I'm assuming Busby's going to attempt to amend something to say that they put her name out there and they should not have because she was Jane Doe and because of their power platform and all that. So I'm sure he is going to have some kind of response with them using her full name.
By her attorney, Tony Busby, is a blatant and cynical attempt to shake down Mr. Sharp for millions of dollars. It is filled with lies, distortions, and misrepresentations, and it will not succeed, end quote. Then earlier today, Jane Doe's attorney, Tony Busby, sent TMZ Sports a 1 minute and 36-second clip of an alleged conversation between his client and Shannon. In response to that clip, Shannon Sharp went back to social media and issued this response. Take a look.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media.
Now he kind of took the angle Jay-Z took in a way, because when the Busby accused Jay-Z of assaulting a child, Jay-Z kind of said, "Hey, no, don't do that. Don't do a civil complaint. If I did that and that's such a heinous thing to do, press criminal charges." So he kind of upped the ante on him, like, "No, if you said I did all of that to a child, a minor, then press criminal charges." Well, that never happened, and I feel like Shannon, although it's a different topic, if you will, but it's still the same thing. Now you trying to release like a snippet of something that was way longer. Release the whole thing so people could really see what went down.
The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down.
Well, what I need Shannon to get is some blank common sense. You almost 50 something. No, you're almost 60 years old, and you met this girl in a gym in LA, from what I understand, and she was 19 years old. You got to be more careful.
My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys. Thanks.
Well, it's a sad situation. Shannon Sharp is somebody I work with a couple of days a week. Shannon Sharp is somebody that I brought to ESPN. Works on First Take, which airs on ESPN every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. He's been with me every Monday and Tuesday. We've been number one for 13.
Is he plugging his show and giving himself accolades along the way with this? Okay.
15 years and counting. But since Shannon has arrived, obviously he's helped the show immensely. And I can't thank him enough for it. We've grown close as friends. I'd like to believe that. I certainly root for him. I know he's been through a lot.
Why do I feel like I hear a but coming?
In life, he's overcome a lot of things. And when he departed from Fox, I was more than happy to bring him on board here. So all I can speak about is what I know based on the reports. And I can speak about ESPN and Disney. To be clear,
He represent Disney. I mean, I know he's contracted by Disney, but he's acting like the spokesperson right now in this moment. But I guess with the kind of contract he has, maybe this is a part of his responsibility now.
Clear, even though this podcast, this YouTube show is owned and operated by me solely, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be dismissive of ESPN, who employs me in my daytime job on First Take. So I sit here before you today, letting you know that they are aware that this is a subject that I was going to broach because I owe them that courtesy.
Protect the bag. We understand. I know I understand because we know, Stephen A., you're not going to go out here and do anything that mess up your ESPN deal, and nor should you.
Um, with that being said, it's important to point out a couple of things. Number one, I was not there. I can provide no eyewitness account. And even though I got love and respect for Shannon Sharp, and I'm sincerely hopeful and prayerful that he is completely innocent of the allegations that have been levied against him, I can't sit here and speak to his innocence or guilt from a knowledgeable place because I have nothing to do with this. I haven't seen anything. I don't know anything. I don't even know this person. I know what the reports say. I know the reports, the things that have been reported on a multitude of outlets, from the AP to the New York Post to Forbes to TMZ and everything in between. I mean, I can't even count the number of publications that have talked about it or written about it, networks, etc. It's all over the internet. It's everywhere. And I know that. I'm fully aware of that. This is not a criminal case. So there is no concern about him going to jail.
Well, it's not a criminal case, but this is something else too with Busby and Gabriella, I think it's her name. Um, if these incidents that she's accusing him of took place even as late as early this year, one of the things that some folks are asking is, if this happened to you, why wouldn't you press charges instead of going straight to a civil complaint? So that's making some people think that that's more evidence that it is a money grab. Again, we don't know because none of us were there, so we're just kind of based off of what's being presented to us. I think we're kind of drawing conclusions or either opinions or whatever. But I'm sure if the latest thing she alleged happened with an SA from Shannon was in January of this year, the statute of limitations would definitely not have run out for her to press criminal charges. So it kind of begs the question of, why wouldn't you do that if this really happened? Like, why wouldn't you do that?
This is a civil case, which means that he can either be found liable or not liable. The accuser in question is seeking $50 million. That was confirmed by Shannon Sharp on that video today. According to the reports, it's somebody that he met in 2023, who was 19 years old at that particular moment in time. According to some audio that was put out earlier today by attorney Busby, you hear the accuser, the female, talking to somebody who is alleged to be Shannon Sharp. We don't know whether that's true or not. And the person in question, again, we don't know whether it's Shannon or not, the words choke, as in, I will choke the hell out of you if I saw you.
Shannon done messed up. That's all I gotta say. Shannon done messed up. Shannon done messed up, and I think if we dig into his history, maybe some more there. But he has messed up. Out of all that lecturing and preaching he does, it just isn't looking good. It's not looking good. Even if they were role playing, and I haven't listened to this audio that Busby released, but even if they were role playing, to now be caught up in this situation with some girl you met who was 19 and it's just, boy.
And so because of that, knowing that audio was probably going to come out along with additional tapes, whether they be video or audio is unclear at this particular moment in time, Shannon Sharpe felt compelled to come out in his own defense. How we to interpret that? Let me be very, very clear about where I'm coming from. I'm a bit torn in terms of his response. On one hand, Tony Busby has sued Jay-Z. He did sue Diddy. He did accuse them, or represented the woman who was accusing them of assault, of sexual assault, and said that she was 13 years of age at the time when talking about Jay-Z and Diddy, and Jay-Z went ballistic and emphatically denied it, wouldn't let it go. The case was dropped, and now he's suing Busby, mentioning words like extortion and other things. So when Shannon Sharpe brought up Mr. Busby in that video that we aired and talked about him being extorted, he brought up Mr. Busby and Mr. Busby's past.
You know what's so wild about this? Because I do listen to Nightcap. I look at Nightcap a lot. And I've heard Shannon talk so much about if a lady gets on the elevator, he doesn't even get on the elevator with her if nobody else is on the elevator because he just wants to be above reproach. How if a friend or a woman stays at his house or something, he wouldn't let her leave like a toothbrush there or whatever. But he's just always presented on Nightcap as if he makes sure to go out of his way, almost to the point of it being odd, to like not be in any kind of situation with a woman where it could be said he was involved in something inappropriate. So that even just makes me think like, okay, now is there more to the story as to why you were doing that? But if you were doing all of that, then why would you be doing this? Why would you be doing whatever you were doing, whether it was role play, whatever it was, maybe it was what this person is actually alleging, this 19-year-old child that you met when you were near 60, why would you be doing that? And you're the same person who would not get on the elevator with a woman if nobody else is on the elevator because you wouldn't want anybody to ever be able to claim anything inappropriate. It's weird. These puzzle pieces are not fitting together.
And he talked about him, going against African-American men. There's two thoughts there. On one hand, there's the Jay-Z, who obviously should be presumed innocent, not just because you should be presumed innocent until found guilty, but because of the manner in which he fought on his own behalf and has been very aggressive in going after Tony Busby. In the case of P. Diddy, you don't know what to believe. Again, the case against Jay-Z was a civil suit. Diddy was a civil suit. But in Diddy, you don't know what to believe because of all the allegations he's facing. But we can't forget that Tony Busby was also the person that represented at least 24 of the 27 women that accused Deshaun Watson of sexual misconduct, along with other allegations. And at least...
Now that's true. So that's true. So it makes it feel like, okay, Busby may be an ambulance chaser in some instances, or is he? Or what? I mean, because some of the cases he brought up against, Diddy, they sounded like really crazy. I mean, even when some of the people started talking and the family members are just like, no. But he does have this case involving representing the women who said Deshaun Watson had done some things to them, and he won that case. So
23 of those cases were settled. So we have an obligation to mention that. So on one hand, going on the offensive to defend himself, I completely understand where Shannon Sharpe is coming from. On the other hand, when his legal team issued out the press release on X yesterday, and they spoke about, they mentioned her name, and they revealed some of those explicit text messages.
Well, Stephen A., you mentioned her name too. You put it up on a slide during this YouTube episode you're doing right now. And I feel like I know where Stephen A. is going to say, because that what Shannon released from his attorney, it did feel like, now what kind of attorney do you have, Shannon, that will have you respond this way? Because to me, it actually makes you look worse. I know it feels like they wanted to say, okay, this girl is no innocent girl. Look at the kind of text messages she was sending to me. This woman is obviously a certain type of woman, and she's just trying to get money. So let me send these explicit text messages so you all can see what she said. I thought that was a bad move. And I don't know what kind of lawyer Shannon got, but I think that was a bad move.
That was uncomfortable. And I don't know if that's a strategy that would work. One of the hardest things in the world for all of us to do is to just lay low and be quiet and let our legal team do it. And we don't always know whether or not that's the right thing to do. I know, and I can tell you all that I spoke to Shannon, not in details, but I spoke to him, and he emphatically proclaims his innocence. According to Mr. Busby, his client emphatically proclaims his guilt. So where does that?
So what are you about to say, Stephen A.? Are you about to announce that Shannon has been suspended from First Take until this has been resolved? Because that's what it kind of feels like. And I almost think it from a business perspective. I get it. So I don't know. It sounds like he might be headed in that direction. Let's see.
That leave us? I'd love to tell you that I know the answer to that question, but I don't. I am the executive producer of First Take on ESPN. I recruited Shannon. I went and got him and brought him to ESPN. But I'm not the boss. Those are other folks. There are layers to this, and there are certain layers even I am not on. I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously, and we are looking into this very, very closely. And once we gather as many facts as we possibly can, we will go from there. And that is all he said. And I can mention his name because I received his permission to say that.
Oh, we know you did, Stephen A. We know you are not out here talking about those executive leaders who bless your show, your check, and everything without their permission. And again, we don't blame you for doing that, but the way Stephen A. just makes it clear how he's following I don't know. I can't even really explain it. It's something about how he expresses. I made sure it was good with the people upstairs before I said anything. It's like, I don't think you have to say that every time, because if you've done that with them, then fine, you need to say it. Why do you need to say it? It's almost like you're trying to let, I don't know who know that you're being a good boy and you're kind of doing, you're following the rules. It's just, I don't know. It's an ick to it.
I don't know what that means. In my perfect world, this equates to Jay-Z, where the case ultimately dropped. And Shannon is allowed to continue on First Take and continue to thrive and shine. And not just that, and have an illustrious career in the podcast stratosphere, doing Nightcap with Chad Ochocinco, doing Club Shay Shay, and ultimately gets this $100 million deal that he was all over the news about to sign just a couple of days before this report came out.
That's another thing. It is being alleged that when this person, the lady who was bringing these allegations against Shannon, when she and Busby got wind of the $100 million deal that was about to be signed, that's when she allegedly wanted to sue for 50 million. Now I don't know if that's true or not, because I've heard other people say you just can't say, oh, I heard that, let me throw a lawsuit out there. It takes several steps to put a lawsuit together, so it's not that quick. I know nothing about that. I'm not a lawyer. I have also heard allegations or reporting, and how valid this is, I have no idea. I'm hearing things just like y'all, that initially there might have been an agreement allegedly where Shannon was going to pay her 10 million, and then she wanted to up it to 50 million. So I don't know if that's the case, but man, I'm telling you, if this is not true, this is indeed yet one more life lesson that is not a new one, right? Because again, Shannon made several mistakes here. If this is not true, what this lady is alleging, he made several mistakes that he at his age should not have made, and especially with how he lectured younger players. I mean, you effed yourself. If this is not true, what she's saying, you effed yourself, and you should have known better. And I keep saying, if what she's saying is not true, because regardless if she's 19, regardless if she was like sent those text messages, regardless if he was paying for plastic surgery and she was doing different things to get money for him, regardless of all of that, that woman could still be SA'd. So who knows what the truth is?
In my perfect world, he moves on. And somehow, some way, we find this all to be false. But it doesn't seem like that's the way things are about to go down, considering who Mr. Busby is and how emphatic his client is proclaiming that she is right and she's telling the truth. I don't know where this is going to go. I can't speak to anything else. I don't know who Shannon Sharp's legal team is and what they're suggesting. I imagine that everything that has transpired has been at the behest of his lawyers, not just himself.
He needs better lawyers. Because I'll say again, the release of those text messages from this lady to Shannon, how that even all started out, that was a wrong move. The move to make her appear as if she's this, she wanted it, she was engaged, she's no innocent woman where something has happened to her, like almost just making her look a certain way in order to gain what I know they were hoping to gain, like this immediate public perception of, yeah, she's this Scarlet, and I'm using that word because I don't want to. I know YouTube won't let you use certain words, but just she's a certain type of woman. Okay, so we shouldn't believe nothing that she said. I feel that is why his lawyers released that statement they released. But that again, that statement to me was a bad move and a wrong move, and it also set the wrong tone. It really got down in the gutter to where they were trying to place this woman. I just think it was a bad move, and I think they're going to pay for that.
I can tell you again that when I spoke to him, he is emphatic in stating his innocence, that this is a shakedown, to use his words. How wise is it to use those kind of words when a civil matter of this nature is out there? When you have a podcast and you have advertisers and sponsors and you work for ESPN and they have advertising sponsors, I don't know. What can we say if any of us were in that position and we felt or were proclaiming we were innocent? I don't know. And I'm not about to pretend. I just wanted to make sure that I echo to all of you that the only reason I spoke on this issue is because he works with me 2 days a week. He's on national television. He was on national television with me today. He was on national television with me yesterday when the story came out Sunday night. I didn't know anything about it until we got on the air. But he was on air. And if you know him in part because of all the work that he's doing with me and what he's doing in this industry, I know everybody's been waiting, like, Stephen A., what you got to say about this? I got to say what I just told you. I don't know what's happened. I know I got love for the brother. I know that I'm wishing that he's innocent and all of this stuff goes away and he can continue to thrive with me on ESPN and thrive in his own platforms that he worked so diligently over the years to build. But anything else would be entirely irresponsible for me to speak on. And I can't do that.
He's right about that. I don't look at Stephen A. side eye at all. Stephen A. should not come out here and fall on a sword for Shannon in this situation when he doesn't know what the deal is. He doesn't know what's going to happen with these videotapes and audio tapes and all the other things. And whether you like Stephen A. or not, in my opinion, Stephen A. is doing the right thing in this moment.
Yes, I own this. This is my platform. But I also have a day job and I also understand what lawyers, what HR, and all of those other things entail. What I said is all I can say. And in all honesty, at this moment, it is all I know. I have no idea what direction ESPN and Walt Disney will go in when it comes to this matter. All I do know is it won't be me making a decision.
Shannon, I'm going to tell you right now, unless this lady who pressed these charges comes out on her own and said, hey, I was influenced by BuzzFeed to say these things about Shannon and they're not true. I don't think Shannon is going to survive this with ESPN and Disney. His other platforms may be fine, the ones that he owned and so forth, they may be fine, like a nightcap and the YouTube stuff and podcasts and that stuff may be fine, but I don't think he's going to survive this particular situation, even well before whatever happens with the civil suit. I don't think he's going to survive this because of perception. And at the end of the day, there are all kind of clauses in these contracts. There are clauses in contracts for behavior and that type of thing for us regular employees. So when you are on a network such as ESPN and you're a broadcaster and that type of thing, you can only imagine what kind of clauses are in there about how whatever can't be a negative reflection on them in Disney. So I honestly don't see Shannon surviving, meaning continuing his relationship with ESPN and Disney. I just don't see that happening. And I think that relationship is actually going to end probably well before the civil suit is even settled.
It'll be others upstairs. In the end, all of us have someone to answer to. No matter how maverick we try to be and we own our own business and we're our sole proprietors like I am on this platform and stuff like that. There are advertisers, there are sponsors, there are people you do business with, there are partners, and there are bosses. That's the situation, unfortunately, that Shannon Sharpe finds himself in at this particular moment in time. I sincerely wish him the best. I got love for him. And I hope all of this is just a sad ordeal that goes away because there was no truth to it. But I don't know. Neither do you or the rest of us. And only time will tell what the truth is. That's it for this edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show. Special edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show. Just want to let you know that. I'll holler at y'all later. Until then, peace and love, everybody.
Wow. Okay. Well, whew, that was a lot. Um, this isn't going to end well for Shannon, y'all. I just know it isn't. Like I said, even if the lady who's accusing him of these things says, it's the attorney Busby put me up to this, and I really never thought this, or I never really experienced this with Shannon. I think ESPN and Disney is going to let him go well before something like that happens. I think ESPN and Disney are going to cut ties with him before the civil suit is resolved. And I don't know how I mean, of course he could keep Nightcap and the other like things that are on YouTube and stuff like that, but he does have major sponsors there. He has a liquor deal with some brand, so he has different things there too. So who knows how all of that is going to go. This is unfortunate, and it's unfortunate for one. I am not going to jump out here and make any judgments on the person who's bringing these accusations based off of those text messages. But I understand people who are getting a certain perception from the text messages. I just, at this moment, because I do think too, when this audio tape, which I haven't listened to, and if a videotape is released, I think it's going to have the Cassie effect, because once you hear things and once you see things, it goes a long way, no matter what Shannon might be saying. So I'm going to take a look at those. But I still, at this point, with so many things being up in the air about what really happened, I still, at this point, would love to just know what in the world was Shannon thinking. And it makes me feel that all Shannon does on Nightcap, because I watch Nightcap a lot, all he does on those episodes is try to come across as this wise, seasoned, veteran type grown man who's always trying to tell younger players and other people just what they should do to kind of stay out of situations like this. And he's always talking about how he tries to make sure he moves in ways where he's above reproach and all of that. How does that Shannon Sharp end up trying to, well, not trying, hooking up with a 19-year-old girl when he's damn near 60? Even if it didn't lead to all of this, like, what are you doing? So which one is real? Which one is phony? Which one is it's just a mess. But to know that all of this went down, and all before he was supposed to sign $100 million contract. And now I can't be one of those people in our community that say, oh, the people are out to get him because why is it happening now? You know, it could be very well that Busby saw those reports out there that Shannon Sharp is going up to sign $100 million deal, and he might have said, "Oh, client, this is the time for us to kind of, do some different things." That I don't know. Maybe that did happen, but at the end of the day, those audio tapes, allegedly videotapes, other things between you and this, who when you met her, she was 19. I think she's 23 now. If that's you on that audio, if that's you in the videotape, it's going to be hard for you to sell people. It's going to be hard for you to sell people and on your side of the story. And one side of the story that I think you're not going to win is ESPN and Disney. So we'll see where it all goes. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more to come on all of this. So thank y'all for being on the live stream with me, and we'll see. Like I said, I know it's going to be much more to come on this story. Until the next time, bye y'all.